Great. Welcome to Joel Asset News. Take the top stories in crypto and break them down into bite-sized pieces. Today, just as the thumbnail and the title suggest, it's a big day here in America as we are getting ready to celebrate the biggest sports event that we have. And what that is the Super Bowl. And for you out there that are not from the United States, two football teams come together and they battle out to see who can be supreme. The big thing is what's going to happen with crypto. So we're going to take a look at the crypto exchanges that are actually competing this year, which I think could lead to some pretty good adoption. Also want to talk about some free Bitcoin and free giveaways that they're doing during the Super Bowl, just for crypto. Also, we'll take a look at BitBuy and their smart marketing and how they got into crypto or to crypto advertising and what's going on behind the scenes. And then lastly, we'll take a look how Binance is coming forward and really just controlling the narrative by this massive acquisition that no one really has been talking about, which is kind of crazy. And then lastly, we'll just go over a Q&A. Hold your questions till the end. We'll just do 5 questions and we'll get out of here because a lot of things going on today. So before we do all that, let's talk about the market. And if you're watching the replay, just know that there's going to be timestamps below so you can jump ahead and go everywhere you want to. Also remember that the news is about around 15 minutes. So the Q&A is longer. And of course, that's what the timestamps are there for. So you can stick around, but if you got to do something, hey, I totally understand. It's one of those days. So let's take a look at the market itself. So today's a pretty good day. It's Sunday, the 13th of February. Don't forget tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So don't forget your wife or husband or significant other because they will kill you. So this is what we have for the market. It's not a bad day. I mean, we've seen some volatility. I think there's some people that are very unnerved about what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, and the United States and China and everything else. But just remember, the whole world is nothing but volatility. Let's just be honest. So if this gets you a little bit nervous, you're not alone. But as I talked about yesterday, just like Peter Lynch said, there has been more money lost by people anticipating the corrections besides when the actual corrections come about. So just remember that sometimes these things will blow over. Sometimes it can be big, but it's up to you to make that decision. Anyhow, Bitcoin hitting a little bit of turbulence, but still holding strong, 42.4. Ethereum below 3,000. Tether, nobody cares. Binance Coin, USD Coin, Polygon. Ripple, 22% for 7 days. That's pretty good. Up 0.5%, 81 cents. Hex is down a little bit. Cardano's down a little bit. Solana is down a little bit. Everybody's down, except for Dogecoin. Go figure. And Shiba Inu, interesting. Crypto.com is up, probably because they're going to have a Super Bowl ad and so on and so forth. Also, some pretty good developer activity. 30-day percentage is not available. And let's see, the big thing that I was looking at is the volume for the 1-day percentage change, which means if people aren't trading or doing much, it tends to become stagnant, kind of go down. So Bitcoin down 21%, Ethereum down 30% for the volume. Everything's down except for Ripple. I think there's some rumors circulating around, and I don't really like to get into rumors until I know the full story, but there's just rumors about the case, and I can't even comment because it's just rumors and sources close to some guy who knows a guy who's got a truck and stupid stuff like that. So I will not be talking about that. So let's just go into it and talk about Super Bowl and crypto exchanges. Again, if you're not from America, this is not a big deal for you. But the Super Bowl here is like this big, huge sporting event, and mostly, a lot of people like football, but mostly what people like to do is drinking and eating. I love that part myself, so I will be engaging in those activities during the game. And the thing that I need to talk about is, why is this big? Because if it's just in America, who cares? Because crypto is a global phenomenon, right? Well, just know this, that in last season's Super Bowl, which was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the KC Chiefs, we had almost 100 million viewers just in the United States alone. 100 million people at one time watching an event. So can you imagine all those eyeballs? And they start to see these commercials. And here's another thing about Super Bowl, if you're not familiar with it. A lot of people just watch it for the commercials. They're that well produced. They're funny. They're entertaining. And people even vote. I know it's crazy, but they actually vote on the actual commercials. So when we see that there's not one, not two, but there's 3 exchanges that are coming forward and they're going to be featured for the Super Bowl, this is big news. So Here's the article which kind of lays it all out. BitBuy, this is just the highlights, which I had never heard of until today, spent roughly a quarter of its 2022 marketing budget on its Super Bowl ad starring Miami Heat point guard Kyle Lowry. I think it's because Lowry he used to play for the Raptors in Canada. FTX will give away Bitcoin as part of its ad campaign. So again, this is where you could gain some Bitcoin just by watching these ads. Also, there's going to be opportunities for NFTs. We'll get to that in a second. So this is what we got. Crypto companies, FTX, BitBuy, Coinbase, and Crypto.com, excuse me, there's 4 of them, are set to run Super Bowl ads on Sunday, making this the first time that companies in the industry will advertise during the game. When I was looking at this, I'm like, I thought they had actually done ads before, but I guess not. I mean, they've done ads on TV, but not during this game for $100 million, or $100 million, 100 million people watching the whole thing. So I'm like, it's pretty good day to do that. Some advertisers paid as much as $7 million for a 30-second spot. Let me say it again. Some advertisers paid as much as $7 million for a 30-second spot. But for people like Sam Bankman-Fried and Coinbase, they're like, $7 million. It's on my couch cushions. No big deal. Executives at FTX and BitBuy said the cost is worth it for their companies. I would say so. Now, more than 30 advertisers in this Super Bowl this year, 40% of them are new to running ads. I thought that was interesting that 40%, almost half, had never run ads in the Super Bowl. So where are these people coming from? Right here. Automotive, technology, which would be us, and travel categories. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I wonder why it's automotive. It wouldn't be surprising to me, especially with the push. We've got a push here in the United States to push things into electric vehicles. We've got more of a push as far as technology. Travel categories I can see because they took a huge hit with COVID and they're kind of rebounding, so maybe they have to advertise. But I just found it interesting that tech has all that money. Well, I'm not surprised, but tech has all the money to put into these ads. FTX revealed on Monday it will be giving away Bitcoin as part of a contest running in conjunction with the ads. Though an FTX spokesman declined to share details about the commercial, you can expect some star power, which of course they're like, we want you to watch the commercial. Here's one of their old ones with Tom Brady, which is pretty funny actually. And then this was the interesting part. Eric Chen, CEO and co-founder of Injective Labs, argued that the Super Bowl will be the first time that the entire crypto industry is under a major spotlight. Well, like we talked about, 100 million people roughly, and that was last year's. I don't know how big it's going to be this year. But if we can expect anything like what we did before, and that was just the United States, mind you. So I think it could be pretty big. And then this one, this is the one that was interesting to me. And it gets by to this. This is BitBuy's marketing plan. I thought it was spot on. Canada-based crypto platform BitBuy has recently changed its marketing strategy to target more members of Gen X and baby boomers, according to Binu Koshi, BitBuy's marketing and communications director. And when I'm seeing this, I'm like, that's pretty smart. Because just think about that for a second. They're moving from millennials and kind of going into more of an older crowd, right? Gen X, baby boomers. Why? Why would they do that? Well, it's because of this. And I know people are sick of seeing these things, but this is what it is. This is just U.S. household wealth by age of the generations. So I don't know where you're at. In the United States, this probably is true a lot of places. Usually the older you are, the more you have a lot more money because you've lived a lot longer and hopefully done the right things and made the right investments. But you can see right here, percentage of U.S. household wealth, millennials, not that much. I saw a statistic that the average 30-year-old has $1,049 in their bank account, 30-year-old in the United States. That's it. So, I mean, that's great that they have exuberance, but if you want to bring the money in, this is where you go. The Xers and the baby boomers. Because why not? They're already there. It's low-hanging fruit. Let's just grab them. So I thought it was a very smart play to move from the younger crowd to maybe an older crowd. And then until about 6 months ago, BitBuy primarily advertised through digital channels. So you'd see stuff on Twitter, you'd see things on YouTube and things like that, where the majority of its users consume media. Now it's not to say that Gen Xers and baby boomers don't consume it there, but not as much as, say, a younger generation. We reached the point where growing our customer base means attracting new customer or consumer segments, Koshi said. It's not sustainable to keep speaking to the same early adopters over and over again. And I've already jumped into crypto. And that's a beautiful statement. That's a smart way to do things. Why would you, if you were into marketing, why would you be talking to the same people if your whole prospect is revenue and reaching out to new people? You want to get as many people under this tent as we possibly can. So go to where they're at. And if they're watching the Super Bowl, then go to the Super Bowl. I don't care if they're listening to radio, go to radio. I know people are like, that's hilarious. Why wouldn't you just advertise on social media channels? Because a lot of people, or not a lot, but some people aren't there. Some people like social media channels. So to go to where they're at, bring those people in and go, look, if you're discouraged by your investments or whatever else is going on, however you want to do this in marketing, here's another opportunity. There's some great asymmetrical returns. If you just take a look at the history of the internet, things like Amazon, Google, Facebook, those types of plays, investments, you can far outperform what's going on here potentially, and take a look at cryptocurrency and digital assets. And here's some education so you can actually bring on. I think it's a smart way to do it. And Binance is going to lead the charge. I'll get to that in a second. So to finish this up, BitBuy applied to become a registered crypto exchange, a prerequisite to be able to run the commercials, on November 30th. Amazing. So BitBuy, which is a Canadian-based exchange, they just got this crypto exchange designation, and they signed Lowry, the NBA player, just 2 days later. So if you're concerned about some crypto projects not moving too fast, well, it's okay, because these exchanges are moving at light speed, at least the good ones. Koshi said roughly 25% of the company's marketing budget for 2022 went to signing Lowry, as well as producing and buying the ad. So a fourth of your entire budget is blown right here. Talking about putting all your eggs in one basket. Might play out well, might not do so hot, but I think it's going to be probably pretty good. And here's the commercial. I'm not going to play it. You'll watch it during the game. Crypto.com and Coinbase are reportedly set to run ads during the NFL championship game. That's pretty cool. But this next part here, this is interesting about Binance. And not just what Binance is doing, which I think is super smart about education, but what they just bought on Thursday, which is amazing. I'll get to that in a second. So Binance is countering the ads running during the Super Bowl with a marketing campaign urging people to learn crypto and trust yourself. During the Super Bowl, Binance is encouraging viewers to visit cryptocelebart.com. Don't worry, look in the description. I put that at the very top so you can find it. When crypto commercials with celebrities air, you can claim one of 2,222 NFTs for free, featuring Butler. Butler, they're talking about here, is NBA All-Star Jimmy Butler. The site will also include a crypto primer to understand basics about the technology. Smart. Our focus is on being user-first and empowering through education, Binance spokesperson said. We appreciate that our competitors are spending to show up in prime time and drive crypto awareness. However, our lost you for a second. Before I go on, I think that's the same thing with like YouTube channels, in all honesty. Sometimes there's places that just do a bunch of hype, but not much education. Sometimes you got a channel which has a lot of education, but they're not really too much hype. And I think you kind of need both to kind of drive this space forward. So I know some people will give people a guff about the hype, but I mean, that's essentially what's going on here. You've got ads going on the Super Bowl. That's all hype. But you got Binance behind the scene going, you know what? You hype them up, and then we'll bring them in, we'll educate them, and then hopefully they'll be on our platform. But who knows? With Binance US, I don't know how great that one is. All right. So to finish, I hope that this newfound attention, crypto brands think deeply about how they can best educate the public about why this tech matters and how it can positively influence people's lives, said Kelly Callaghan, Algorand's head of marketing. I would like to hear more about what Algorand is doing. That'd be interesting. And this leads me to my last point. about great for Binance to pick up the pace on education. Like it's great for hype. You know, you're going to see the Tom Brady's and the different thing and the Lowry and like, oh, that's cool. But what the hell is it? And that's what Binance comes in. I think that's smart. And I think what they did here is even smarter as they control the narrative. And before I get into that, this is a quote from Noam Chomsky. He who controls the media controls the minds of the public. And you can see that with the mainstream media and what they do. Now, I think you're kind of outside of that because you're watching this channel, but you see it all around you. And media plays a huge part into the shape of what people believe and how things move forward. Just a thought. It's not 100%, but it's just a thought. And when I saw this, I'm like, man, that's real smart. So Binance buys $200 million stake in Forbes. Here's what's going on. On Thursday, I like how they say this, 5-year-old Binance, one of the world's largest crypto exchanges, announced a $200 million investment in a company a century its senior, business magazine and media group Forbes. Binance investment makes it one of Forbes' top 2 owners. So if you think that just because Binance if they put a little bit of money, they probably wouldn't have a seat at the table. But if you're one of 2 of their biggest purveyors of cash, you better believe they're going to be at that table going, you know what, we should talk more about Forbes crypto. And also we should probably talk more about Binance, just saying. And this comes as the media group, or Forbes, seeks $400 million additional capital before it goes public by merging with SPAC Magnus Opus Acquisition Limited. I thought that Forbes is already a publicly traded company, but it's not. So it's going to do a SPAC, which is what a lot of people are doing now. Good for them. As Web3 and blockchain tech move forward and the crypto market comes of age, we know the media is an essential element to build widespread consumer understanding and education. So says CZ. Just what Noam Chomsky says. And then just for giggles, this is what $200 million will get you. The crypto exchange Binance sued Forbes for defamation in 2020 after the magazine alleged it intentionally evaded U.S. taxes and regulation. Binance later dropped the suit. And on Thursday, Binance PR chief Patrick Hillman called it water under the bridge. Oh, you better believe it. Because when you put $200 million into a company, it's amazing how people are like, just a little lawsuit, no harm, no foul, no big deal, and off we go. So look, that's it for today. So the game is 7 p.m., I think Eastern. So I don't know. You can find it. It's all over the internet. Actually, it's all over the internet. You can find the game is. You can watch watch the game, eat some food, drink some beer, all that good stuff, if that's your thing. And then, of course, when those ads come up, go to that website. What was it called again? Let me see. Celeb. No. Celeb. Celebfinator.com. There's a link in the description. I'm not going to go over it. So that's it for today for the news. So look, now we're going to go in the Q&A. If you got to take off, no big deal. Thanks for coming by. I appreciate it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and that's it for today. So thanks so much. All right. So for you guys who are hanging around, let's do some quick Q&A. 5 questions only, and we'll get out of here. So let me bring up those questions. Going to be late night. That's right. Thanks for the stream. Enjoy the game. Yes, I will. This is a good question. This is a great question. Hey, Rob, did you take many safety precautions before this heated weekend? Super Bowl, full moon, Chinese New Year ends, Fed talks, Biden calls, Ukraine tension. Just like I talked about yesterday. And just like I'll always say it, Peter Lynch said it perfectly. There's been more money lost than because of the possibility of corrections and the actual corrections themselves. So for me, I don't know where the world's going. I don't know if Ukraine is going to be invaded by Russia. I don't know if the Fed's going to come out with that emergency meeting and go, you know what, we got to raise things by 2 points. I don't know if an asteroid is going to hit Europe tomorrow. I have no idea. But I will tell you this. This is how I did it. I have a running dollar cost average buy orders on Voyager. And those buy orders were executed this morning for Bitcoin and Ethereum and Algorand and Chainlink. And they were actually executed yesterday and the day before that, the day before that, the day before that. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know if I just stay right here, don't move too far. I know if I look at these things as like a 3 or 4 or 5 year play, I'll be way ahead, as opposed to selling because of something that's going on. So that's my spiel. Great question. This is a good one. Hey, Rob, how do you see stablecoin lending issues panning out with the SEC? I think, well, the SEC they just settled with BlockFi for $100 million. I think that's what it was. I have it on my, if you want the news that's happening right now, follow me at News Asset on Twitter. That's where everything happens quickly. So that 100 million, they did that because of the yield and things like that. So my big question is, what are they going to do with Celsius? Because states have already looked at Celsius, and then with Voyager. I've talked to Alex Mashinsky before. Alex has been on other channels, and he says we're working with the regulators. I talked to Steve Ehrlich, the CEO of Voyager. He said the exact same thing, working with regulators. So could the SEC just clamp down hard on them and go, no, you're not going to do that? I'm sure they could try, but it's anybody's guess what the SEC wants to do. My big question is, why can't they approve a spot ETF? They know I don't want to go into it. It's never going to be approved, in my opinion. Sorry. Like, there's some things that I'm bullish on, and there's something that I'm positive. There's some things I'm not. Taylor says, please review Ocean Protocol. I'll take a look. I'll try my best. That Ocean Protocol has been for quite some time. So that's 3 questions. What's the other 2? Where are the other 2 questions that I need to answer? Rob is unwrapping a wrap token on a taxable event. I don't believe so. No, because it's the same. So if you take ETH, you wrap ETH, put it on another blockchain, it comes across, and you unwrap it. As long as you're not selling it for cash, or as long as you're not buying for goods and services, it shouldn't be. However, if you're looking for a program that would probably tell you, there's a link in the description called CryptoTrader.tax. And it's what I use. Once it has API integration into DEXs, into OpenSea, into all the exchanges, it downloads all your information. And then the time you get that, the time you're done, took me about 30 minutes, off to my CPA. So look for the link in the description so you don't have to get screwed around with taxes. And this will be the last one. Rob, do you think we will ever have another long-term bear market? Yes, I do. And it's because that even in traditional markets, there's still long-term bear markets. Remember the financial crisis of 2008? Remember the dot-com bubble that burst in 2001? So always expect long-term bear markets. And that's when you really get to work. When you have long-term bear markets, that's the time you accumulate. And during those parabolic bull run, that's when you sell. And that's not financial advice. That's just a financial opinion. And that's what I do. And that's it for today. So look, thanks so much for stopping by, everybody. I appreciate it. Thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe. I'm going to put 2 more videos up here. And so you can keep watching if you want to. That's it for today. So thanks so much for sticking around. I appreciate it. See you on the next one.